Alright guys, so in this video and the next few videos, we're going to be creating a WhatsApp clone and a few lines of code. So let's talk about our agenda. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to render templates. So just make a base kind of HTML type of website, and then after that, we are going to be hooking it up to a database and actually making the actual site. So throughout these videos, I'm going to be explaining Flask to you guys. So that was this main purpose of this video. These videos are to teach you guys about Flask. So I'll be teaching you guys about Flask and all the things you really need to make a website with Flask and have a database to it. So that's why we are making WhatsApp, because I want to show you guys that you can make really cool websites out of this. And by the end of this, we will actually have a finished WhatsApp clone. So finally, we are going to be deploying it to like Heroku, and we will have it on the World Wide Web. So this is just the first video. So let's get started. All right, guys. So let's jump right into it. So I'm in a folder called WhatsApp, and I have a file called app.py. So this file is our main file. So when the program runs, it's going to look to this file, and this file is going to be kind of the main control of everything else. In this video, we're going to be working with HTML files, JavaScript files, CSS files, Python files, database files, and TXT files, or text files. That's why I'm using VS Code, because VS Code just allows me to kind of manage files a lot easier, allows me to visualize them, VS Code, and it allows me to run all of them at once. Okay, so it just makes it a whole lot simpler. If you have VS Code, I would highly recommend it. Yeah, so I talked about Flask kind of in the introduction, and we need to install it because this is a third-party module. So you want to go to your terminal and you want to say pip install Flask, just like this with a capital F. Okay, so we have Flask installed, and it says I have my requirement already satisfied. That's because I installed it before. I forgot to mention that before you even start with these tutorials, I will not be explaining any of the basic Python stuff, meaning like functions, classes, things like that. I will be explaining all the Flask, but I will not be explaining any of the Python stuff. The HTML stuff, you don't need to worry if you have no HTML knowledge or CSS. That's okay. But the Python knowledge, before you kind of need that, just in case you're wondering. So that's that. So we've installed our Flask. So now we have to import it. So we want to go to our program and we want to say from Flask, import Flask, just like this, and this should here, this is really all we need. But we're going to be using render template after this, so we're going to need that. And yeah, that is it, at least for this video. So now let's create our application. So I'm going to show you guys how to create our application. So you want to say app is equal to Flask, parenthesis, double underscore, name, double underscore. And this is going to initialize our Flask project. So this app is like the most important variable that you're ever going to use in Flask. This is the main Flask, and this is your app. This is your app. So just make sure you do this part right, or the whole project will go wrong. Now what we want to do is we want to create our main endpoint. So let's talk about what this means. So in Flask, this main.py or this app.py is going to be ran first. So this main file is going to be ran first. And this file, as I said, controls all the other files. So like a regular web HTML app website, it first looks for the index.html, right? Here it looks for the app.py, and this app.py sets all the kind of endpoints for all these other HTML files. So it says if you go to this link, then I'm going to show you this HTML file. If you go to this link, I'm going to show you this file, right? Just like this. So the HTML files are just getting rendered. Okay. So this app apply is the most important file. So now let's create our first endpoint. So this is going to be the main endpoint. When you go to that URL, this is your base URL. This HTML file would show up, right? Usually it would be your index.html file that would show up. And this is kind of the same thing. So in a regular HTML web app, when you go to that URL, the index.html shows up. Here, it kind of defines what shows up. All right, so for everything, we're going to use this app.root decorator before any function. Now, as I kind of said, this is defining the endpoint for whatever's happening next. So here we're just going to put /, and this just means the base URL. So it's saying if you go to the base URL, if you go to that website, then I'm going to show you this HTML page. So we're going to create a function, and now here we're just going to say return, and we want to render this index.html page. Okay. This is going to render the index.html page. Once again, it's saying when you hit this base URL, it's going to just get the index.html page. This can be whatever you like, whatever page. So now let's run this program. So you want to do is you want to say app.run, and you want to have a host of 0.0.0.0, and you want to have a port of whatever you like. So whatever port you like to set. For now, we're going to set a 880 port. I believe this is HTTPS. But this stuff doesn't really matter right now because we're not deploying it yet. So really, I'm pretty sure you can just run it like this. All right, so now let's run this program and see what happens. So when we do this, we can see it's ran. And it's running on this port. Now inside here we get an internal server error, and we kind of knew this was going to happen because where's our index.html file? So basically in this Flask, it looks to the templates folder to find all the HTML files. So you want to create a templates folder, and inside here we can put all our HTML files. So inside here we can put our index.html, and just to make sure that this is the index.html, we're going to write a simple tag that says this is the index.html page. Okay, so this is the index.html page. Okay, and now let's run this, and this should actually work. Okay, it's running. May take some time, but it's you can see it's getting this right here. Here, wait, let's run this again. Sorry for the background noise. Okay, so it worked. So now we can go to this port, and you can see it says this index.html page is running. So you can kind of see how we can play around with this. We can create new pages. We can have different things for these pages. But before we go for this video, before we have this video, I'm gonna show you one last thing. So I'm gonna show you how to get information in the URL. Okay, so I did this a lot with my Excel app, where I got information in the URL, and it's really useful. So we're gonna create a new root, and we're gonna call it sign up. So you can see it right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to try to get them to sign up, and we're just going to temporarily store that in a variable, and tell the person hi, whatever they said. Okay. So how are we going to do this? So we need to take the information from the URL, and we need to store that in a variable. So here we can just put a /, and we can and how we have a variable inside this URL is we have kind of like this HTML type tag type of thing, and inside of here we want to say the variable name. So let's call this name, colon, and then what type it is. Or actually, it's the other way around. It's the type and then the colon. So this is going to be a string and then colon name. So now in this function, we can actually take this name of variable. So we can put that in the function. And now we can just return hi. That's the name. Okay. Just like this. Okay, so now let's run this and see what happens. It's running, I guess. Follow this. And now if I say /sign up /printnov, I guess. Oh, I guess this isn't running correctly. Okay, it's fine. Just run this again. Oh, okay. So it says we need a leading slash. That makes sense, right? And now here we just reload the page. And now we can go to our sign up. We have to run it again. Sorry, guys. Now when we run it, it's running. It works, and now we can say sign up /printnov. And we can say it says hi printnov. We can say it says hi printnov. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And that's it for this video. I'm going to be releasing the next part in a few days, so be sure to check that one out. Anyways, till then, peace.